Okay.
All right, take me home, country road. Here we go.
Take me home.
Should that be what we call this
Home.
episode? Take me home, country road.
To P. Diddy's, where I
Ooh,
belong.
diddling kitties, mountain up. Anyways,
Oh,
it's not
shit.
what we want. Uh,
Right.
fucking, we do. Two Beards do not condone the or anything to do with P Diddy or anything of his deals authorized by the Australian government, Canberra. Like
You do that too well.
yeah.
Let's do it. G'day. This is the Two Beards Wrexham Podcast, your go-to for all things Wrexham AFC. Join us as we chat about the highs and lows of our favourite footy club. She'll be right, mate. G'day, beard brethren, Sheilas, fuckheads, and just all-round legends. Welcome to another week of the Two Beards Wrexham Podcast. In a week where it's a bit topsy-turvy, had a draw, had a loss, and Waltzing Matilda certainly didn't come. I'm your host, Rousey. That is Adrian on the Two Beards Wrexham Podcast. Mate, what a strange week it's been. And we're back after a week off, a little bit of a holiday. But thank you guys for understanding, that, sometimes we got to take care of stuff. But Adrian, mate, how you been? Welcome back.
Yeah, good, mate. Good. I'm good. It is much better to be enjoying the football, that's for sure. It's look, win, lose or draw. I think at the end of the day, this is still exciting, and it's not all doom and gloom. I know that's definitely been used to death, but it's exciting. I'm excited to see what we can do now to bounce back.
Oh, mate. Well, we're going to get into all that juicy goodness today. We're going to talk about it. We got to air everything out. Because I know we missed last week's podcast, but we did actually release a special episode on Gresford, which was very, very well received. And props to everyone that helped out that, and Scoot from Declan Swans as well for allowing us to use his song in that nice little memorial I did at the end. I hope you all watched to the end because that was well and truly worth it. It's a great song and a nice little memorial to the Gresford people that did not pull through. So yeah, but we've got some shit to get done today. So we're going to start off with a bit of housekeeping. You know it. I know it. It's here. It's our fuckheads. We love them. Every single one of them. They pay their hard-earned money every single week. It costs a whopping $5. Minimum base tier is $5. And what does that get you? Well, it gets you access to a fans-only Discord. Gets you shout-outs every single week on the podcast. Access to exclusive giveaways that we do. Events every so often. And it gives you early ad-free access to the podcast every single week. But we are recording this one a little bit late because of the Stevenage game.
So worth it. I'm so glad we waited and covered this game. So good. No, I'm just
you've not had your sad wank yet, have you?
Nah.
See, I keep telling you got to do that every single. Like, if we lose, you just got to get it out of your system, mate.
Just got to go for it. Just
go and abuse yourself.
Jesus Christ! All right. Well, look, I think the biggest thing here is our fuckheads, and our fuckheads make us who we are in the sense that we are trying to get to Wrexham. We're aiming for November 2025. And we are very excited to have the fuckheads on board because all of their the $5 a month that they pay to be part of the Fuckhead program goes towards our tickets to get to Wrexham next year. So thank you. And we also have a couple of other tiers that the beautiful people have also got on board with, and that's our executive producers and our ultra fuckheads. So our ultra fuckheads, we are so lucky to have them. That's the $20 a month tier. We appreciate you and your contribution. A couple of people have some 6 months rolling merch coming through. That's right. If you're a $20 a month ultra fuckhead, you get every 6 months a rolling piece of your choice. Anything from the Two Beards merch store, you can pick that and get that brought sent to you free of charge. That's right, free, completely free. So you basically paid for it yourself over the time, but we're trying to pay it back. So to Sarah and Anthony, those you'll just need to give us. I know that Anthony's already suggested what he wants, which Chris is flashing, but and that's not his ass. But Sarah needs to message and no, there it is. It's coming. It's coming here. We knew it was coming. And Sarah, just give us a DM and we'll get that sorted out. To our other ultras, Welsh Techie, Bryant, David. Appreciate you. Good people, good humans. And then our rest of our fuckheads, Benjamin, Vincent, Jake, Ryan, Neb, Drew, Mark, Deandra, Anthony R, John, Chris, W, Will, Andy, Aaron, Rousey, Adrian. I think I got it.
Yes, we're fuckheads too.
I appreciate you.
Could you imagine if we did like a payment subscription program and like we weren't actually a part of it?
Well, we just did it and we were like, good luck, and like just fucking left.
Yeah. just threw everyone in there. All right, well.
Well, I guess that's what I do at the moment, unfortunately. But I'm trying to be better.
What they do on OnlyFans is like they actually have people that respond to fans for them, so you know it quite clearly it's not them. And
yeah, I mean Rousey, like you've got well, it's kind of the opposite scenario because in OnlyFans it's a hot chick who's got like just a random dude texting guys back, right? The opposite in ours, we actually have a really hot chick who replies instead of you. So it works out. Swings and roundabouts. That's what you're gonna think of. I'll just go see myself out.
Don't ask me how I know this. Let's not venture down that path.
I've stopped asking questions because I worry and fear for the answers. That's my biggest fear. So yeah, fair enough.
One of these days you're going to be brave enough to venture down that path, mate.
I've asked questions and I've been burnt. I'm not getting burnt. What is it? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Fool me third time, still more shame on you because obviously I can't be stopped. And fool me fourth time. I keep doing this pod. What episode are we up to? That's the amount of fools that have been done to me.
What are we at now? 66? 67?
Who knows, mate? But whatever it is.
A lot of episodes.
It's a lot of episodes and a lot of fools me once, twice, whatever the fuck. So, no, look, at the end of the day, I love doing this podcast with you, and I know that we had a week off. And I will thank everyone for their patience, and I do appreciate it. Look, I was going to just bring it up at the end of the pod, but for those who are going through a rough time, who may be, not dealing tough, please do feel free to reach out to your local lifelines. Australia has it. The UK, I've got them all put in the link, so I'm going to send that through to Rousey to pop in the comment section. For those who aren't maybe coping so well, I lost a good friend of mine, and I think everyone should be able to speak out and do that. So do that, guys. Please speak up. Doesn't matter who you are, where you are. If you think, I'm going to bother someone, don't worry about it. Text them, call them, just reach out.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it any better myself. So, all right. Well, on that note,
on that bombshell,
now everyone knows why we were off for a week. We are going to discuss some games.
Fuck.
We got to talk about them.
Rouse, I don't want to do it. I'm scared. I don't want to talk
some Wrexham on a Wrexham podcast, mate.
I want to talk Wrexham. I just wish it was happier times, my friend.
It's happy times.
I know. I'm just fucking around. You'll hear me. You'll hear my take after the break.
Got to be happier than the players' likenesses on FC25. That's for sure.
Oh shit! If you did not see what Rousey put up on the Two Beards Wrexham account, holy fuck. It is gold. He's found all the photos, and shout out to Anthony as well, you beautiful man, for helping us out with some photos of these. What do you call them? What would you call them? What did you say? Say that again. Avatars. There you go. Avatars. But what did you specifically said? Elliot Lee looked like Harry Potter off Temu.
No.
Was it Elliot Lee?
I said Elliot Lee looks like that creepy dude in the corner of the nightclub.
He does. I mean, yeah. But who was the Harry Potter?
Is that one of those dudes that's sitting there staring like?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just looking around the nightclub in the corner, in the dark corner. So that's Elliot Lee. And then I said,
Who is it that looked like Harry Potter?
Clueth.
Yeah, that
Clueth.
makes
Looks like a
sense.
Temu
Actually, now
version of
that
Harry
makes
Potter.
perfect sense. Nah, fair. But anyways, everyone, my favorite was someone commented who's a Tottenham fan. So shout out to you, mate, making the pod. But he commented like, "You're League One. What did you expect?" I'm like, I think the difference is we were actually in Vancouver, scanning our faces in with the FC 25. I completely agree. We're League One. We don't have the right. Usually, it's Championship or above, or even just top Championship and above, who get that treatment. But they actually scanned those fucking players. So they wasted their time because nothing looks like them. The only person who looks like himself possibly is McLean. And that's probably from previous years.
And Boyle. Boyle, they did justice to Boyle. Come on.
Yeah, that's just because they just put his ears like this and then slapped it on a bald person.
You could have made a Mr. Potato look like
Exactly. But anyways, if you haven't seen that, check that out. That was something that made me fucking cackle. And you'll never guess, some players in the comments.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, on that note, we've got some games to discuss after this. Let's do it. You know the deal. Here comes the ads if you're watching on that platform. If not, you're just going to look at me.
You're just going to see him do this. Woo!
Yeah. All right, let's do it.
Woo!
Welcome back after that ad break. I hope you got your Ned's Bet fix and all that sort of stuff. They probably sound a hell of a lot better than we do when we talk. They pay professional voice actors and fucking hell. Can you imagine two Beards as a professional voice actor? Yeah, nah. All right. We've got games to talk about.
Nah.
Right. So let's talk about some fucking games. Now, we had Leighton Orient on the weekend. It was a 0-0 draw, a fantastic 0-0 draw.
Did you say a fantastic 0-0 draw? Yes.
Everyone loves a 0-0 draw, right?
Oh, they just love it. Goal fest.
Just absolute goal fest. But hey,
Jesus.
It was an interesting game. No one scored. That's generally how a 0-0 all scored.
He's broken the story here, guys. Yeah. No one scored. Holy fuck.
Yeah. But it was, I don't know, 1 point gained or 1 point lost. What do you think?
1 point gained. I honestly think, and I mean, again, I hate being that guy, but I love me some stats and I do love going through it. And look, they had 58% possession. We had 42. They had 9 shots. We had 6. They had two less big chances missed than us. We committed 12 fouls versus their 6. And probably the big one for me out of all of this was actually just the passes. Obviously, to have possession, you got to kind of keep it with you, but they seem to chip it around a bit more than we did, with about 491 passes to 343, and their accuracy was 78%. So that was pretty good. Ours was at 69%.
Good number.
Maybe that was worth it. But at the end of the day, I think it was a wake up call in the sense that not every game is going to be a snatch and grab win or a flashy smashing. Like, it's never, you're going to have games which are going to be gritty, going to be hard. We had it against Bolton earlier on this season and we were praising it. So I still think we need to kind of keep that mentality for this draw as well. Like you said, I think it's 1 point gained. What about you, mate?
Yeah, I'd say 1 point game. The game was effectively a tale of two halves.
That's such a good... We're bringing out the cliches this episode. I'm loving it.
Oh, mate, you've got cliches for days. But, yeah, definitely better in the second half than we were in the first. We went with... Who was our... Oh, yeah, so it was Marriott.
I can tell you the lineups.
Yeah. We went with a different front half.
Yeah, we didn't to start with. We with the first half, we obviously had Palmer, Marriott, Lee, Dobson, Cannon, McLean, O'Connor, O'Connell, Clewith, Barnett, Okonkwo. But then we made some subs and we actually brought on our new best mate, Scar, towards the end of the 88th minute. Poor bastard.
We were forced.
Yeah.
To bring him on. But you know what? Actually, that's one thing I do. Let's go down that rabbit hole first. The Scar thing. Now, from what I'd seen, and we will touch a bit on the other game, but from what I'd seen, that wasn't a bad debut for Scar.
Oh, for 4 minutes or whatever the fuck it was, 2 minutes regular time, and then however many added. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. And I think, to show something in that at all, or even get a touch in that time, is pretty good. So, he did all right. But look, Maxi going down was a bit of a dampener of the night, day, whatever you want to call it, whatever time zone you're in when it was on. That probably brought me down a bit. Was just that in itself. It was a tough game to watch, but I think at the end of the day, with that injury, with the rotations that we're trying to and will do as we get into more competitions and do more trophy games, things like that, it's kind of where we're at. I know a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people thought, we'll smash Leighton and it'll be a big thumping, but I think it's where we're at, and I think we should take that. It is away from home. We've never really been strong away from home. There's some evidence in the future games we talk about, but the big one for me, mate, is 1 point gain. We have to keep positive in the sense that no one, other than the fucking sports bets or whatever, had us in the top 2. We did, because we're optimistic. We're a podcast. Of course, we're going that route, and we still believe it. But at the end of the day, no one really wanted more than staying up. So the fact that we're in the top 2 right now, and at the end of that game, we're still top.
And you know what? I don't think it's panic stations by any means, but there clearly has been, I think, over the last 2-3 weeks, probably since Birmingham, there has been a little bit of a form drop that I feel like their passes aren't as crisp. Their decision making is a little bit off.
We're also coming up against better opposition. I think, but I don't want us to go down the same rabbit hole we did in the last step where we said we would have beaten Birmingham because we played better. I think at the end of the day, we're coming up against opposition who we
got fucking burnt in that episode, man.
You did. But that's my point. I don't want you to go down that rabbit hole again, because that's not what
fans, mate. They jumped all over me, mate. They wanted a piece of Rousey.
That's not what you're saying, though. That's what I'm trying to get at. Is that's not what you're saying. I know that you've said that verbally, but what I think you're trying to get at is, yeah, you're right. We have had a bit of a form slump, but I think regardless, we are coming up against harder opposition, and we need to get to another gear. I think we're in the gear that we were in. I don't think we've changed. I just think we're coming up against harder opposition week in, week out now. Birmingham was inevitable. So then for us to come up and get a draw, it's like, okay, this is kind of what we were expecting coming into this league. It's great that it's happening at round 8, or at the time, match day 8, but still.
I don't know, to me, it feels like if we cleaned it up a bit, if we've picked up our pace a little bit, I think we would be recording different results. Case in point, the game we just played, which we'll get into.
No, buddy. This is what you said against the Birmingham thing, and you got torn apart.
They tore me apart because I refused to concede that Wrexham are a better team than Birmingham were a better team than Wrexham. Now, what I should have clarified in that comment is that the result would have probably been different had we had passed a bit shut, been on our game. The result probably would have been different. Probably still would have lost. But yes, I can see that Birmingham were the better team on the day.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to get at with Leighton as well. I know it was a draw, but for them, it's probably for them. It's a big occasion.
That's definitely a point gained. But I mean, they were coming off the week before. They were coming off a massive win the week before, so they were coming in form. They beat Stockport 4-1 the week before, so coming in well and truly on fire, ready to go.
Yeah,
and they proved that. They hassled us. And I think that I get worried when I see teams pressing as hard as they do. Like when they start hassling us in our back third, as we're trying to kick out, that's when I start getting worried because I feel that they take the decision making away from the players somewhat, and our passing does get a little bit sloppy. If we can clean that up, we'll be fucking amazing. And
Yeah, see, I think it's the opposite end that's lacking. And everyone can say it's odd, but it needs the delivery to those attackers. But, you know, we're getting shut down in that front half most games by teams who have gone and parked le bus. Like they've literally just parked the bus and gone, you know what? We'll take a point. Or in the next game's case, take a win and park it because, like you said, we played a better second half. And we're going to talk about it in the next one. We played a better second half. It's one of those things that is, it's all good and well to say, yeah, if our defenders can, get the sharper passes, this, that, the other. But I think the main thing is to stop that forward half. Even when the midfielders are moving forward, they're kind of getting shut down before anything can be created, or the ball's getting absolutely chopped up the field from a defender who's just lobbed it over to Marriott hoping for a miracle. And I don't think it's happening as well as we think, purely because of the defenses we've come up against, Leighton Orient and Stevenage, and we'll get into that. But yeah, anyways, it is a good point. I like your idea that, yeah, if we can do crisp passes, I just don't think that's going to fix it. I think our front half needs it, and we'll get into that in the next one. I'll talk about why we need that in the Stevenage.
yeah, we got to, when we get down the field and we start crossing it into the box, actually cross it to a fucking player.
But again, it's not them either. They're under pressure. They're getting pressed. They're getting exactly what you said. They're getting pressed. And when we get pressed and we get basically stressed out, we're not playing our Wrexham way. That's why we win so well at home, because we're so relaxed. We're just, we can play at home because we're like, oh, it doesn't matter. We got the fans are on our side at this point. And, I know it wasn't the case, 4 years ago. It'd probably be the opposite. Like you wouldn't want to play a shit game in front of your home fans. But
do you reckon if
he's going to come up with something crazy?
If we go to Wrexham right next year,
yeah,
maybe I should bring my weed stash with me and just get it into the players.
That'll slow them down, mate.
It shouldn't do. It should just chill them out a little bit. They won't feel as stressed. For
an away game, definitely, for sure, because I think the away form has been the same as we left it last season. It's the same. It's funny, like we think we've addressed it. We've done this. We've built this incredible squad. We do have an incredible squad, and I still think they will achieve great things. But it's still the same results for away games. Like it hasn't changed that.
But now we've lost Max Cleworth for an indeterminate amount of time.
Yeah.
Sadly and frustratingly, the club is not very forthcoming on injuries and releasing, eventually it'll leak out probably through the leader or something like that. But
I think possibly I've seen numbers floating around, but I'm like, I never go off of it because it's the same people who said Mullen wouldn't be back until, match day 20. So like, it's like, you
never gauge it. You never gauge it. But sadly, now that means that no Max Cleworth, who was on fire, but we do have Dan Scarr. He came in, and I probably should mute my phone.
Why? Is it ringing?
Yeah, I've got the Old Spice theme on my phone. I'm like,
the Spice Girls?
No, the Old Spice theme.
Okay.
Do you know what Old Spice is?
Yeah, the deodorant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so I've got that theme, So now every single time someone messages me, I get that bloody theme. I was like, fuck's sake.
You know what I love about this podcast? It's just two people who get really distracted.
But okay, so anyway,
let's move to the next game.
Paul Mullen. Let's talk about Paul Mullen. Let's talk about Paul Mullen in that game.
Okay.
Dude was fired up when he came on, and I couldn't help but feel that I love Marriott and I'm going into bat for him, but when Mullen and Fletcher came on, the game changed. And late into that second half, it became very much hours to lose essentially.
Well,
Um,
and we drew it. I think that
and we
the end
drew
of
it.
the day, that's my big thing on Paul Mullen at the moment is you can be good like that, but it's about chances and converting those chances. And I think as I've mentioned before, I feel like, and let's just take the whole team out of the equation for away games. I'm talking about bringing on Paul Mullen with 10, 20 minutes to go. He wants to start. He wants to be that guy who's constantly starting, right? He wants to be that guy. But what happens? It's like a caged animal sometimes. Sometimes you've held them in the cage too long and they run out and they try to shoot at everything. And I think that that's what Paul was doing that game was, yes, he was on some, like he was ready to go and do it, but it didn't work out. And I think it's just releasing him a little bit too late. I mean, what was it, 66th minute or something? I don't know. It was like, it's enough time, but it's also not what he would want. And I think he's just not used to that yet. Whereas a Stephen Fletcher, he is used to that. He is used to being brought on late at the moment. He's been part of the system as a late player. Whereas with Mullen, he was brought in to be a starter. So for him not to start, it's got to do something to the ego. It's also got something to do with proving to himself he can do it. And sometimes that can add a little bit of weight on the shot instead of being finesse. It goes wide, could be slapping the thighs too hard after missing because he's beating himself up. It could be all of those things in the psyche, but it could also just be a striker. That's what they are. They are hungry for goals. And if they're not getting it, they're not happy.
Yeah, that's right. That is true. And his goals will come, I'm sure of it. And then once they start flowing, then the floodgates will open. And it's exactly what happened last year.
Exactly.
It's just going to happen again.
Exactly.
But anyway, Stevenage happened. Woke my sad ass up at fucking 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And
mine was 4. Yeah, 4. 4 in the morning.
So yours is a bit more respectable. I could do that, but
4.
Bullshit. That's
2:30 is okay for me, mainly because I can go back to sleep after the game. With that, I kind of can't go back to sleep after the game, and I'm like, got to go to work. I'm like, fuck. But no, I'm with you, mate. It was a rough one to get up for. Does this count as the Stevens in the chat? Because it's Stevenage. Do we count it?
You fuckhead. Yeah. Seriously, you took my joke.
Sorry,
you
mate.
Legit took my joke.
We haven't talked about anything before. We don't even prep for this.
From Stevenage. The old
He's acting like we sit here for an hour and have notes and compare or something. And he's like, I'm going to use this joke at this time. I didn't know you were going to say that.
I was thinking about it all day. I'm like, how can I inject this joke into the podcast? And then you just like, you know what? Steve's from Stevenage, mate. Steve's from Stevenage. And I was like, oh, fuck's sake. He's just done my joke. There we go.
Yeah, but I don't know if you've watched The Office, but like the US Office, but there's a scene where Michael Scott is like, nope, don't say it. That's my joke. And like, it's like, but you didn't say it. And he's like, nope, don't say it. That was my joke. I was thinking it. Like, that's what you're doing right now. I was thinking it, Adrian. It's my joke. It's mine. But dude, no, look, we're trying to make a lighthearted feel of a loss. It sucks losing. It does, but it's not panic stations. We're all still kicking and we're having a good time. So I don't know what all the meltdowns are about. I think what I'm surprised about, and we'll talk about the game in just a second, but is this surprised you? I expected the meltdowns to come from the newer fans. I'm talking the ones like,
Well, some are, believe it or not.
The ones I've seen have all been ticket holders for 50 years and like say that James McLean should be sacked. And I'm like, what is going on?
The Facebook crowd, definitely, there have been a few whinges on the Facebook crowd.
Yeah.
The Parky Out Brigade starting to reset.
Fuck me. If I hear the Parky Out, you know what's so funny? When we're winning, nowhere to be seen, but then you just see them creep into people's comment sections and it's like, oh, see, Parky ball coming to play. You knew this was always going to happen, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Dude, we're second. Shut the fuck up.
Well, I mean, look, 1-0 loss against Stevenage, a loss away. So we've had 2 away games in a row. Which I do not know how that works. Normally you play home away.
Well, so, I mean, it has to happen at some point because there's the way things line up with fucking events at people's venues.
Yeah.
Who knows? There might be other sports.
Still, And then just like last time, Taylor two halves. Because in the end, we were fucking coming at them big time. We were going for it, and it didn't pay off. We couldn't quite get the equalizer. But we did have, and Parky did do something that was really interesting during that game. He left Marriott on, and he brought on Palmer and Mullen.
Hmm.
So he went with a back four and had Mullen basically rolling off Marriott and Palmer. Now I've never seen that's an interesting. I mean, I was like, oh, this he's going for it here. He's going all out. So I think that may be his like all out attack strategy.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Fletcher started. That was the big one for me. Okay. Is this because Palmer's not fully fit? Is it because it's a midweek game where we're resting people? What's the go here? But Revan started. Scar obviously started now that Cleworth is not doing so hot. And then obviously Evans as well, starting ahead of Cannon. Look, can I ask you something? And I mean this with all the love in the world. Elliot Lee, he has been off form for a couple of weeks. What has been your take on all the comments around it?
I think people need to calm their tits a little bit because fucking Elliot Lee is dynamic, right? Whenever
That's my favorite word you use is he is dynamic.
He is great. Like fucking Elliot Lee, mate. Look, okay, let me get on this. A lot of people have been like saying, oh, you know, and I heard fucking me, the wife, and Wrexham talking about it, and they're like, oh, you know, he was tired last week and all that sort of stuff. Or he was tired last season. He plays every single game. They're like, look, let me just say this. I said it before, and I'll say it again. When you are in a game of people that are of that same level, you're not going to look as specky, right?
Exactly.
You're not going to look as specky. But
way to say it.
But Elliot Lee does open up avenues of play that other players do not. He does, and he works with James McLean very, very well. He is still crucial and much needed on the field for the team. Just because he ain't doing no bloody you know, Zidane bloody kick ups and fucking popovers and all that sort of shit. You know, he's creating plays and I think he's actually been pretty damn fucking good and he's been integral to the team. And
for sure.
I think anyone that's trying to have a go of him because he, you know, he hasn't got his dick out or whatever, he hasn't fucking looked, you know, specky or created some specific breaks, but it's what he does, you know, what the types of plays he creates. And you don't have to look like a fucking ballerina with a ball just you know try and to make people think that you're good. But I don't know what they're fucking looking at. I really don't because Elliot Lee's been great. He's an integral part of the team.
Here's the thing. I think what I'm trying to get at
two, three times this season already.
Yeah, but look, I think this is where you're getting quite defensive of him, and I completely understand why.
That's my boy.
He's integral. Yes, 100% integral to the team. I think neither way for Wrexham are right. He has played a lot of games, and he's got little to no rest, and they go straight into an overseas tour. They do all of this shit, and he's part of it each time, right? So let's give him a bit of slack to have a couple of off games. I think the one thing we need to settle on though is he has had some off games, and that's not to say that he's poor or he's not integral. He's just not been as.
Is it an off game if you have like one or two bad passes in a game?
Okay, so you made a comment earlier today, and I'm not trying to bring it up to be a dick. I'm just trying to understand. You said if we could get our passes right and get all the things going, we'd be right, right? Which is it? Is it the other teams we're coming up against are of another caliber and we're getting pressed and therefore he can't show his ability? Or is it that he's not passing the way that he should be passing? What do you think?
I think it's more of a combination of that first one.
Yeah.
Because yes, he is getting headhunted a bit. He is getting pressed and targeted a lot. He's not having as much time on the ball, but he is at the same time creating a lot more plays. He's scored goals. He's been a threat. He's fucking good. He's been really, really
No
good.
one is disputing that. I think
No,
what
I
you're
think
trying.
a lot of the internet are. No, you're not, but a lot of the
No,
people
I
that are
get you.
talking about him
Yeah.
are.
Nah,
And I just
people
think
are
like,
assholes, mate. people,
yeah, it's like
people just get fucking in their head, and you know what it is as well. Unless someone's on a score sheet, or in an assist or something, or get their top FOTMob rating, people don't rate them. And it, like you said, it is about being, sometimes it's being gritty when we have gritty wins, like the Gresford game where
I think
the Black Kids.
it's just
Hey,
not being so fickle. I mean, it's like the guy. Okay, look, you turn around, you make a pass, and it gets intercepted, right? Because you don't put enough weight on the pass or enough speed, and he's done that once or twice, right? But you do that once in a game, and you have a blinder of a game anyway. You do that once, people are going to say you're shit because you fucked up one pass.
here's the thing, dude. This is the one thing that I don't want this podcast to turn into is going into meltdown because people are doing that, because will happen, and it will happen constantly. People will call for Paul Mullen to be benched, and then and be taken out. They'll be saying put Mo Farrell in, and that's something I want to get into in a moment. But Mo Farrell should definitely be getting an opportunity when this is happening. But to bring it back to Elliot Lee, he has not been his usual self, but I think it's because he has been, like you said, pressed by the other teams. He's coming up against League One players. We're meeting our match. These are players, like you said, who were brought down leagues, multiple leagues, to be amazing, to show that we can get there and get us to where we need to be. Well, this is where we wanted to be. I know the owners talk about fucking Championship and Premier League and all that horseshit, but let's be real. As the fans, they wanted to get back to where they belong. League One was where we were before everything fell apart, years ago. So now we've got these players who were from that league, and now we're wondering why they don't look as special or they're not performing as well. I get so mad, and I'm with you. It's not just on Elliot Lee, it's on Paul Mullen, and it's on McLean, and it's on especially the bigger names are getting dragged through the mud anytime there's a draw or a loss. And it's going to happen because we will lose more games and we will draw more games, and that's okay. The main thing here is not going, oh, we need a scapegoat. There needs to be a reason why we're shit. There needs to be. Have you ever thought that possibly on the day we came up against a side who wanted it more? I think Stevenage wanted it more, scored in the 10th minute. We could talk about whose fault that is. And then they parked the bus because they went, fuck it, that's how we can beat Wrexham, because they shut down our attacking forwards and our attack can't do anything. So what happens? It just gets passed around in the midfield and goes back and forth till the game finishes. And that's what's going to happen. We just need to get to another level to find better ways of getting around it, whether it's different formations, whether it's different players. But let's not blame Elliot Lee for this fucking one loss. Let's not blame Paul Mullen for, not scoring. It's a unified effort. It's the people behind it. It's not Parky either. It's a unified effort. We're coming up against League One. I'm pretty irate about this. We are a League One team in League One. We're not a League One team in fucking National League anymore. We're not going to stomp the league. So anyone who thinks that, get that out of your fucking brains. Straight up. We talk about it. We jest. We would love to be top two. We still we believe we can do that. But got to be realistic, and you cannot be going internally at the players.
I mean, you look at the rhetoric in the league, right? It very much seems to be that listening to a lot of the commentators, it seems to be that there's two teams that are the biggest threats in this league right now. Birmingham, who everyone is saying is going to run away with the league, and I 100% think they will. And
5 points clear already.
And us.
Yep.
So by that logic, if they're saying that, and that we'd be all of a sudden every single team's toughest test, by that logic, you'd be thinking, oh, we're going to be in second place. And I still think we will. And we'll see. We'll see how
We'll
that
see.
goes. I know there's a good bet with old Nebby on that one, but I just think that when you look at when you look at what happened pre-Birmingham, and this is what I was talking about with our passing and the decision making, it was on point. Like we were scoring three a game. Like our XG or something was pretty insane, and didn't matter how much possession we had, we would score, and we looked deadly in the final third because we were making the right decisions, we were doing the right things, making the right plays. Now, whether these two teams we just faced actually paid attention to Birmingham and how they beat us and trying to emulate it, which I kind of feel there's a bit of that.
100%.
I just think that because a lot of those games feel very similar. We struggle when we start getting pressed. We can't seem to find our way through it. Now, that said, pre-Birmingham we were great. Post-Birmingham we weren't. So this is why I think is this our form slump? If this is our form slump and we somehow pull off a win on the weekend, which we'll get to, then cool. Short slump. Let's just move on and keep going.
Keep going. Chuff on.
Just chuff on. Yeah. But we do have to talk about that game. So I think we've done this one to death, and
it's so good. Cool. Well, if we win this one, cool. No worries. Sick one. No worries.
Yeah.
No, but look, mate, I think you're right. I think people need to lighten up. I know we're getting quite serious about it, but it's just because we're passionate about it. We're talking about it. We're wannabe pundits. And at the end of the day, we love this club. And I know everyone else who's saying whether they're for or against what's happening right now, or they're saying it's people should be sacked, or saying guys calm down. It's all unfortunately comes from a place of love. And when you love something so much, you get passionate.
You know what? Take a bit of Rousey's advice.
Here we go. I'm in.
All right. Well, here's some Rousey's advice for all our listeners out there that might be stressing out a bit or feeling a little bit like they're lost. Just do what P. Diddy does and have a freak off. And
definitely don't do that. You get arrested for that shit and you go into jail.
But have a freak off. Have a freak off on yourself. You know, just abuse yourself, and then you'll feel better for it. Trust me, it's great.
I just imagine Rousey after a loss is just there with one of those. What is it like? Have you watched the Da Vinci Code where that albino
he whips himself?
He whips himself. That's you after a loss. Just it's
that'll be too much coordination though, because you got to do this with one hand and then.
Oh my word! Yeah, you know what? I'm out. Let's just move on to the next game. I'm out. See ya.
All right, let's move on to our prediction and preview of Northampton right after this. Let's go. Woo! So Northampton, back to it. Fuck me dead. Right. Now, what's going to happen? We're going to be in a form slump. We're going to have a bit of a pity party. We're going to come out firing. What's going to happen? Or am I going to abuse myself again?
I think you're going to do that regardless. So let's just throw that out there. But I think at the end of the day, mate, I think we're coming home. we're going to the Kairos, and we are going to want to win more than anything. But we're coming up against a pretty strong Northampton side. By that, I'm saying they won the league not last season, obviously, but this season before, and kept themselves up in this league waiting for us. So it's going to be interesting because this is a team who's kind of done similar. Obviously, we didn't win the league, but we got promoted, and they've kind of done that and then stayed up and continued that form. So it'd be interesting to see where they're at and where we're at, because we're a year behind in the same kind of project, in the sense that we want to stay afloat, we want to stay in this league or get promoted. So it'd be great to see where they're at, but I think this is where it's at home. I just don't see us losing at home. I really don't. I think it could be a draw, but I don't see us losing at home, regardless of who we were going to play this week. I think
Well, they just
after a
had a
couple
high
losses
scoring.
away,
They
we're
just had
coming
a
home.
high scoring game against Bolton.
They did.
They
lost it.
They lost it. It was 4-2, but still high scoring. I mean, 6 goals in the game. That's a decent amount of goals to score in a game. So, look, and I get it was against Bolton, and Bolton have been a little bit patchy with their form. Another one that has been patchy is Rotherham, which we can talk about too if you want to get into that. But because I know
We got them on the
our
20th of October.
friend Aaron, who's a Wrexham fan, Aaron, he's I want to get his opinion on what's going on with Rotherham at the moment. It seems he basically recruited half of their team.
It's an inside joke for those who are actually believing him right now.
yeah. But
He's just, oh shit, really?
So they're sitting in 19th on the ladder.
I
And
think going into them now. We've got them in like 2 weeks.
what?
We got Rotherham in. We got them on the 20th.
Oh, after the Lincoln City game or before? Which, by the way, newsflash, guys, Lincoln City's been postponed because apparently they've got too many people that want to go and represent the country.
Yep.
So
it's literally, it goes Northampton, then we got the EFL trophy, Lincoln's postponed, and then it's Rotherham. So that's in 3 weeks. 20th of October. Yeah, 3 weeks.
I hope we fucking slaughter them. That'd be so good. But anyway, we digress because
let's not talk about the teams ahead. Let's look at the teams right in front of us.
Ourselves, man. Every single time we just keep getting too far ahead of ourselves. So we got to focus on Northampton, right? Who the fuck are they? What do they want?
What do they want? What do we want? A win. When do we want it? Now. Like I don't think they're going to rock up like that. But look, I think Northampton are a prestigious club. They're a great. As I mentioned, they won the league in League Two, not 2 seasons ago, and then stayed up. Which I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, they didn't go back to back. Blah blah blah. Doesn't matter. To stay up in this point in the game, this pointy end of being in League One, it's a hard task to do. So let's not like rest on that one because yes, they've had 2 wins, 2 draws, and 4 losses. We've had 5 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses. But you're right. They've got a goal average of 1.25 a game, but they've also got a conceding of 1.6. We don't concede that much. Even when we've lost, yes, okay, Birmingham, we knocked 3, but we got 1 in.
I'm pretty sure we've got the most clean sheets in the league at this stage.
Yeah, and I think that's something to go off, but I think any team, maybe not at the Kairos, but maybe it's probably apparent away, is when we do concede, we don't really come back from it. It's not like when we're in National League or even League Two where we're down 1, we're like, oh shit, and then we come back and win 2-1. Do you know what I mean? Like we did it the other week, I think against who did we do it against? Crawley? No, we didn't come back. It was fine. So that's right. It was a 1-1, and then we came back and kicked a goal in the last couple of minutes. But usually when we go 1-0 down, we don't win this season in particular. So it'd be interesting to see if they go with the Stevenage look, which is okay, fucking tits to the wall. Let's just go, and they run and they get a goal in the first 10 minutes, and then park the bus. Because that would be very frustrating for a rowdy race course. And I don't know if that would work in our favor. A lot of people go, well, that's great. They'll get behind their team, but it's got to hurt when you've got people hurling abuse from your own team saying, hey, we shouldn't be losing against them. And I don't think we should be losing. I still think we'll win, but it's something to keep in mind. If we were to go a goal down, I'd love to see how Parky handles it because we haven't had that chance this season to really see that on full display.
Yeah. Well, the old Wrexham fighting spirit, as we like to call it, will hopefully be on full display, and hopefully we get some clean sheets this weekend. I mean, I could definitely use some clean sheets, but we got
I
to get.
thought you were going into an innuendo. I just let it run. I'm like, he's going to do something about his sheets. I don't know.
You know what's really funny is that I could not give an innuendo and you think it's an innuendo, and then if I do an innuendo, then you don't know it's an innuendo. It's like you just don't know with me, mate. It's a getting there.
You're an enigma, Rousey.
I'm an enigma.
And I quit. But what are your predictions, mate? I want you to go first this week. You go first. I'll go
My
last.
prediction is we pull our pants off and do some helicopter.
Helicopter. Yep.
All right. Well, I'm going to say, look, we got to look at some of Northampton's form going into this, and that I think with Leyton Orient, them coming off a 4-1 win over Stockport was quite. That's a huge momentum thing for them, and I think the same could have possibly happened had they gone up against Bolton and done that. I'm talking about two different teams, by the way. Leyton Orient did that; they had momentum. Northampton do not have momentum, and they are coming to the Kairos. Extremely hard to win at the Kairos. No team wants to come to the Kairos. We've heard teams actually mention it, that they try and prepare for it, but it just the atmosphere throws them when they come out. I just think that we need a good performance. We need a leveler. We need something to get our form back, and this is the perfect game for that to happen. However, old Arthur Okonkwo's been conceding a few easy ones lately, which is a little concerning. What do we want? What do I like? I'm going to go with a 3-1 to Wrexham.
Okay. That's not bad. That would really quell the argument that I've said that a lot of teams have kind of found out how to shut down our attacking players. So to get 3 would be a real good response to that. But
one thing to do it at your home ground, but when you come to Wrexham's home ground and do it, it's a lot harder to do.
Yeah. No, agreed. But I think, what's funny, I'd gone into this knowing exactly, I'm like, you know what? 2-1, I think we win. I think we do concede. I don't think we concede first. Again, like I said, when we concede, I have yet to see us respond to being down in a game and turn it around this season. I mean, and I mean that convincingly. So I think that's something else to think about. But look, I don't think we go down first. I think we score first. I think unfortunately we let one in, just after halftime, so like we sometimes do, or even before halftime, and then we get another late one. So I'm going with 2-1. I'm pretty confident we'll win though. I shouldn't shake anyone's or what is it? Their passion about it that we're not going to win or anything. I just
You're going
think
to say shake someone's dick.
I wasn't, mate, but
you know what? Like you were going that way.
That's where your mind is always at. And your lips are too. So anyways, let's move on. 2-1 for me, 3-1 for the big fella. I think we are going to enjoy this weekend.
I hope so. Righto, after the break, let's just talk Wrexham, talk some shit, have a bit of fun with it, and close out this week's podcast. It is good to be back. Anyway, let's do it after the break.
Woo.
Right. I just realized, fuck me. Why does my version of the avatar on our logo not have eyebrows, but I've got like the biggest, bushiest eyebrows you could ever have?
Because if I didn't, then on the logo with my bald head, with my eyebrow, if I didn't have the eyebrows there, mate, I'd just be a bowling ball that was maybe in a little satchel.
What if I shaved my head? Would we have to change our logo if I shave my head?
I think we have to liquidate, to be honest. It's like if one of us shaves our beard off, we just have to kind of give it up.
I don't know. Trying to look at myself on camera here. I don't know.
In the comments below, vote if we should shave his head. No, mate, don't do what I did. I was at that point, I reckon, and I was in lockdown and I just went, fuck it. And I just did it and it never grew back. So my point is keep onto it as long as you can and enjoy it, because once it's gone, it's fucked.
But if I was to do that, would we have two of these handsome looking fellas next to each other?
Yeah, it'd definitely be. I would actually, yeah, I would just make them side by side the exact same. I just like copy and paste and then change the logo.
Because you asked me, that logo there with the bald man is,
yeah,
he's got a better beard.
He does, but at the time when we were doing Two Beards, your beard was a little bit shorter when we started, so that's where I went. But now it's kind of grown to be its own beast. I actually trimmed the back of mine here, so it looks a bit thin at the moment, but letting it grow out again. So see how we go.
Well, hey, it's been another good week. It has been another good week. I love coming together and recording these podcasts and discussing what's going on in the world of Wrexham. An interesting thing that's just caught my eye was that Wrexham are in talks to represent in the Europa League.
Yes, I saw that with the Welsh Cup. Not just Wrexham, all of them. Newport, Swansea, Cardiff, Wrexham, all in talks with to join the Welsh Cup and then have an avenue of trying to get into Europa League, which I'll be honest, it seems fitting. So many people fucking complain, but my theory, I don't know how it would work, but I would assume that means we'd have to leave the FA Cup. Oh no, we should know. I'm pretty sure we were doing it both. Anyways, I don't know. I'm sure there'd be some caveat which would suck, but would you rather those cold Europa nights?
I think that'll be fantastic. I'm all for a bit of Europa Conference League. You could get Wrexham versus Real Madrid or.
Oh, I don't know, Fate. I don't know if Wrexham would be in the Europa though. Real, because they'd be Champions League. They're not going to go Champions League, Europa Conference League, and then whatever the. So
how do I not know this?
I don't know.
You would have thought I would have known this and just thought about it and been like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But
fucking Google it. That's what I do.
I want to see Wrexham versus Celtic.
Oh yeah, well, Celtic are in the Champions League right now and got absolutely bum tapped by Borussia Dortmund 7-1 last night. So
it seems to happen a lot with the Scots, man.
Yeah, well, in saying that, they won 4-1 the week before. So it's like, I took a screenshot of it. For 1 week, Celtic was second in the Champions League because they do it on a league table now, and they were second. And I was like, "This is the greatest name of fucking." And I was like, and then they got absolutely bum tapped by Borussia Dortmund 7-1, and now they're like fucking 16th. But anyways, my point is, the day that Wrexham would be in that, I mean, many people would shed a tear. Obviously, people have been around longer than us, but fuck, it would be good. You know what it is? The more people know about Wrexham from near and far, it makes me just super passionate to be like, I feel like I'm part of that community now. Like, I still sometimes feel like a fraud, which I probably am, but it is nice to be like, oh yeah, they're like, oh yeah, watch the doco. And I was talking to my mate when I visited Melbourne last week, and he was like, I'm like, did you watch, season 3? He's like, oh yeah. I'm like, yeah, Neil Roberts. Oh yeah, he used to captain the side. I'm like, yeah. We had him on the pod, and they're like, oh, that's crazy. And I'm like, yeah. It's like, it's just one of those weird things where I love when people get around it, because we don't, like you said, we don't get to talk about it unless it's here or in our fuckheads chat. In our daily lives, it's not coming up because it's not, I mean, you get your friends occasionally going, how's the pod going? But they don't want to talk about Elliot Lee's form. They don't want to talk about, is Mo Fall going to get a game? And that's obviously something I did want to actually ask you. Do you think Mo Fall comes in this week?
No.
Ooh, I think he comes in the following week.
It depends how Fletcher pulls up, because Fletcher looks a little bit ginger. in that game.
He's not. I'm Ginger.
Well,
He's
yeah, of course.
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. I'm
He
just
looks
winding
a
you up.
little bit like a porcelain princess. So he's well, that might not be the right adjective to describe him, but anyway, we'll just go with it. He looked a bit sore and he was getting battered a fair bit. He looked good when he was on, and he's got himself into some threatening positions, but
Do you think he
I
can't? Mo
don't.
Fowl start? I'm not saying he starts. I'm just saying, do you think he's on the bench
I
against
possible,
Northampton?
possible. I don't know.
I hope so. I really do, because like this is the time to be, rotating and seeing what combinations work. We've seen how well it works.
I
You know,
don't
the other
like to predict that shit though. Like it's so like we
oh,
get it all the time, and everyone always has their own opinion. They're like, Parky will do this, Parky
oh,
won't
who
do that.
cares?
Parky will
I'm not
do what
saying it
Parky
has to
wants,
happen.
but
It's just fun to guess. It's
I
just
guess
fun to
so.
say, hey,
It
do you
is
think
fun.
this will happen? Cool. And if not, go fuck yourself. I don't care. Like,
I think there's a possibility he will be, but it all depends on Stephen Fletcher and how he pulls
yeah.
up after
Well,
today's
when
game.
is the Wolves game a midweek game? Hold on. It would be, wouldn't it? Yeah, Wednesday the 9th of October. So it goes Northampton, then we got Wolves and the trophy. So we got like a full-on week off of Wrexham. Yeah, shit. We got from the 9th of October to the 20th of October. There's no games. And
there's a
I
whole
understand,
weekend
guys, that
where
those
we miss.
dates are in Australian time, so it's probably the day before for
I know what
most
I'm going to
people.
do with myself.
I know what you're going to do with yourself, and
Yeah,
I'm
true.
going to cut this episode short if you even to think about talking about what you're going to be doing in that
Well,
time.
smoking weed.
Oh, that's fine.
See, it's like I said, you think I'm going somewhere with it, and all of a sudden I don't. It's like you're just always on your toes. It's great.
I had hair when we started this pod.
It's like edging. So I like to get you there and then just no.
Well, good night. Good night. Good night, everyone. Have a good one. Bye.
Oh, come on. We can't be doing our goodbyes right now. We're just getting into the meaty part of the episode.
The meaty part of the episode. Jesus Christ. I don't even know where to go from here when these things happen, because I'm always like, well, it's okay when we're doing like the agenda. We're talking about games that are coming up. We've already done that. So now I'm just stuck here looking at your mug going, edging, am I right? And I'm just like, I'm going to call the cops. All right. Anyways, I will be back next week.
We should do a
Rousey be with P. Diddy.
Yeah.
We're going to have a good week. All right. Enjoy your weekend.
You know what we should do? A little
No,
competition. Little competition where we predict the first scorer of the goal in a game. And if we're wrong, we have to display our search history in the next podcast.
But the thing is that you think it's going to be like raunchy stuff, but it just shows how like it's like, why fuck, I don't know. Why are you looking up the Wrexham badges over the years? Like, it's going to be just boring shit like that. You'd be like, oh, what's he going to show? And it's like, how to make oatmeal interesting. Like, it's not going to be anything good.
Mine would be like, how to make edibles. How to make gummies.
How to make gummies.
And then, oh, wait, until you go on one of my strange bloody Instagram reels, like when I just go down those rabbit holes.
That's in the fuckheads Discord, guys. And to be honest, we had to give him his own little section in the Discord because it was disturbing when you're at work and you're like, no worries. And then you see little Lionel Messi running around in videos. And then you're like, that's okay. But then people think I'm weird. Fuck.
Oh, dear. Oh, well.
Anyways, let's go. My connection, I think, is dying.
Yeah, all right. Let's end it right here. Guys, we love you. Thank you for joining us this week. I'm your host, Rousey. That is Adrian. Beard Brothers, Beard Brethren, Shillers, Fuckheads, and just all-round legends. Like, comment, subscribe, share the shit out of this episode. We will see you next week without fail on the Two Beards Wrexham podcast. Bye.